I'm only joking.
So before I joined Transition Online, I was completely new to the space in terms of being a coach. I had kind of been like pseudo coaching a couple people that I know for about a year or so. And a lot of people have been saying to me, oh, you should really like start coaching or start PT, and this would be like a really sick gig for you. This is like what you're meant to do because you're really insightful and really informative and you've got good energy. And I'm like, okay, sick. So I took the leap just and made a profile and just was like, I'm an online coach now, guys. So like this and the other. But apart from that, I had no idea how to navigate the space whatsoever. Like I had literally been in the space for a couple of weeks and immediately was just like crickets. Absolutely no responses from any content I was putting out. No warm leads, no cold, no anything. No idea how to outreach. No idea how to produce good content that would get people watching and get people staying.
How long was it that you were doing that for? Like, how long were you coaching before like we started together?
So before we started together, I was probably coaching for, I don't know, I guess, God, how long was it? It was probably like 2 weeks. Like I maybe been 2 weeks that I kind of started coaching, and I thought it was going to be a much faster process than it was because of the things that I've been hearing from people like, oh yeah, like you'd be great at this, it'd be really cool, and I would get a couple of views on TikToks and stuff, and people be like, oh yeah, like this is really good, you should do that. And then I was expecting to hear a lot more from people within like the first kind of starting of it. And so whenever I didn't hear anything after 2 weeks, I was like, damn, like I've kind of come to a point where it's like, well, what do I do? Like, yeah, I've just jumped headfirst into this space with no idea what's going on, no guidance, no anything. And it was super scary. Like it was super kind of like, what if I'm just gonna have to like pack up at this stage already? Because it's like I've just put all this out and then like it's totally embarrassing because nobody's coming on and you're trying to post all this stuff and nobody really seems to give a fuck at all about anything that you're doing. And then it's just like, well, after that time, I was like, okay, well, like, I think then obviously whenever we got in contact, it was something that was like, okay, this guy who's been in the space, who knows what he's talking about, who's seen what I've been putting out, and we've been chatting, and he knows a little bit more about the space than I do. It's like, it's definitely something that I could take advantage of in terms of the knowledge then that I would gain from it. Because again, being a complete beginner was something that was like really, really scary.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, even 2 weeks isn't too long, right? I know you mentioned when we spoke that actually not doing a classic 9 to 5 was something you'd want to do for a long time. And you'd
Mhm.
always known you'd wanted to build a business, right? But 2 weeks into coaching and suddenly investing in yourself and like pulling the trigger, like what was it that you were like, okay, fuck,
So to me, it was kind of like I've always been the type of guy who loves to learn new things, and I've always also been the type of guy who, while I know a lot, I don't know everything, and I'm very aware that what my limitations are when it comes to things that I'm not too sure of. Like I would have been very academic in school, and I would have been a very sporty guy, and all these different kind of outgoing little like endeavors I would have been great at, but I had no idea, you know, I knew my limitation was okay. Well, I have no idea how to build a business. I've never done it before. I just know that I want to do it because I don't want this 9 to 5 lifestyle. That's something that absolutely I do not want to go anywhere near. But I have no idea what the steps are to progress from that 9 to 5 lifestyle of like you're going to just work for somebody else and you're going to waste all your time for money all the time and you're going to trade all your time away for pennies on the dollar, which is like absolutely something that I wanted to avoid. And then it comes to a point where I was like, okay, well, if I don't have the knowledge now, let me get with it. Let me partner up with somebody who has more knowledge than me, who maybe knows the space better, who
yeah,
is somebody who like, kind of from the impression that we've had seems to genuinely care about the people that he coaches with. So that was what was it for me.
yeah, that's awesome, man. But like before that, you don't know I care, right? Until you've
Mm,
worked with me. And then, I'm messaging you all the time. We're jumping on calls and stuff like that. And I'm in the
mm,
community and stuff. But like before I'm just this guy on the screen, right? Like, and you're working a pretty sound job at uni. Investing in yourself is scary. Then, like,
mm,
what was it that actually made you go, okay, even though this is super scary, because I remember that hesitation on the call, like, of taking that jump,
mm.
like you've spoken about it many times. I think that's helped you with your coaching as well, right? Because you have that nerve, it's easier to help other people because of course when they invest in themselves, they can have the same nerves.
Mm.
What was it about that? What actually was it that flipped that you just like? Because I remember on the call at one point you're just like, right, let's just go for it actually. Because you were like,
Yeah,
no, no, I can't do this, and then suddenly you were like, yeah, let's just do it.
yeah. I think the point that kind of turned it for me was when we were talking a little bit about what I wanted to do in the future, and my goals and my aspirations, and how I wanted to make sure that my mom and dad could retire, and make sure that I could buy them a house, and make sure that all these kind of things were going on. I had these big goals, these big aspirations, but I would always use the word hopefully, or I would always use the word like if. And so in that was rooted like a sense of, like, while I appeared confident, the actual self confidence or belief that I belonged in something like that was very low for me. It was kind of something that was like, even though like I can appear confident, I can appear this, like, I think it was an insecurity for me that was like, okay, I'm saying a lot of hopefully because I'm not sure I actually have the confidence in myself to go and do it. And whenever we kind of talked a bit more about that, and we switched the mindset from like no more hopefully, it's like I will do this. This is what I
Mm,
will do. That
that's it.
flipped the switch for me, and that told me a lot of what I needed to do, because as a person, I always was the type to go and gather information first, as much information as I can, and I thought that was the same as taking action. I thought that was like, okay, I'm researching about this. I'm doing little bits and pieces. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm watching Alex Hormozy on YouTube. Like, that's me taking action on my future, but it wasn't. It was me holding myself back, and because I still didn't have the self belief to dive in head first and to actually go and take action on the things that I wanted. And whenever we pointed that out on the call, and whenever we kind of got spoken about it, and it was like, okay, like, let's shift that mindset from hopefully to I will. That was the turning point for me of like, oh, okay, now like I know what it takes. Now this is what action is, and action is doing. And that then was like the kind of standpoint for me of like, okay, like, I'm going to invest in myself because that is what people who take action do.
That's it. It's almost like most people are on one pathway. Their goal is
Mhm.
here, but they continue to take the pathway that leads them here. And it's like you
Mhm.
take that step onto this pathway. Would you say you feel more confident in yourself or where you're going now after you actually took the action to step forward?
100%, 110%. Like, the difference that's been from not from being hesitant and from not taking action to stepping into that mindset of, okay, I take action now. This is what I do. I do things. I don't just sit and talk about things. I don't just sit and research things. I go out and I do, and I take the risk, and I make mistakes, and I fail, but I get back up and I go again. That was the confidence that I've got from doing that is tenfold to anything that I thought I had before. I thought I was pretty confident before, but I've reached a whole new level of like, I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of because I proved it to myself.
And you have that really positive energy about you now. It's so cool. Like even in the community, when you guys come in, you're like really listen, you're like welcome them to another level because you know how they're gonna feel when it starts
Yeah.
taking that. It's always the hardest thing to do is to take that jump right. And like for you now as well, you're actually training people, you're actually helping people, you're building a social media following, you've got so much better at things like conversion, sales, stuff like that.
Mhm.
So you also start to see very quickly, you start to reap the rewards from taking different actions. And then all it does is put more wins on your belt. And the more wins and like Alex Emoji said, the more undeniable proof you have on that belt, the more confident you feel because the more you know you are, who you say you are. When before that, it's quite easy to watch the video, do all of this stuff. You're not actually taking any action. So you don't actually
Mhm.
feel any further forward. You almost feel more confused because there's more things for you to think about.
Mhm.
And out of curiosity, what made you go with me and go with Transition Online over other uh, like
Yeah,
business?
honestly, it was the way that it had been approached. Like, I have been on calls before with other coaches. I've been on calls before and kind of inquired about other courses and things like that. And even though I never kind of pulled the trigger because I was still in that kind of mindset of like, okay, well, I'm just finding out research. I'm trying to do as best I can, and I'm trying to like, get as much information as I can without like committing financially or committing and investing capital in myself. And a lot of the time, it kind of seemed very like robotic to me. And like, I'm a person who obviously has a lot of energy. Like, I try to bring that positive energy wherever I can, and I try to give that to people, and that's my style. And I love like other people who kind of bring that energy as well and kind of bring a sense of like authenticity. And whenever I was on call with other courses and other coaches and stuff, it seemed kind of like just very like scripted, and we're really trying to just funnel to the point, and we're trying to kind of this is simply just like a sales call. Like, it is just like, I'm trying to be in and out of here in 15-20 minutes, and I'm trying to get you to where you're supposed to go, and I'm trying to kind of lead you that way no matter what it is you say. And what I think was different about going with yourself was like, well, whenever we jumped, I mean, first of all, whenever like we kind of were talking in the DMs and stuff, it was a lot of like there was a lot of relatability there of different things that kind of like, I've been through a little bit of injury, you've been through injury, but you'd also kind of done these different bits and pieces, like the boxing fight and the marathon and different things like that that were really cool to me. That I was like, okay, like this guy's gone out and done it. Like he's gone out and been that. And also I think the fact that whenever we did get on call, and it was a lot kind of about diagnosing, not just kind of, you know, I'm not just trying to like, get your money and do this, but it's kind of more like, hey, like what's going on? Like it was a bit of kind of genuine sort of like, okay, well, why have you not invested in yourself before? Why do you kind of
Mm.
think that this is the right time now? The 1.0 versus 2.0 mindset is massive. It was massive for me, and kind of even just getting me to that turning point of like, okay, like I know now that what taking action actually means because of that conversation.
I saw for you on the call that the most important thing was the mindset because you were so switched on. I was like,
Mm,
there's no way this guy. And we started going technical at the start because I'll speak
mm,
really technical to people that I feel like need technical. I just take the call like, don't really think of it as like a sales call. I
yeah.
just take it whatever way it
Hmm.
goes. Like even with you, when I was doing it, I remember we spoke for ages. I even cancelled a call.
Hmm.
Had that call with my editor. I remember cancelling it because I was still talking to you, but we were just going in depth, and I could just see your like mind unraveling. And I think the difference is obviously transition online is not huge. We work quite well one on one. Speak to me
Hmm.
when you come on, and you speak to me again when you're in the community, right? And I think the difference is a lot of these other mentorships, they have so many people. It's got to be quick. They've
Hmm.
only got 15 minutes. It's a bit different with that. And for you, firstly, do you feel like the program was actually worth you investing?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like I love where I'm at right now, and I love the kind of progress that I've seen since being a part of the program. I love the community, and I think that's something that attracted me really to it as well was being able to see firsthand what you're growing and what's been developing, and it's again, like you said, like it's not like these other mentorships where you have so many people and all you kind of do is these massive group calls and you see hot seats and you see people only getting to answer questions. The one-to-ones are like so essential. I mean, they've helped me close clients, they've helped me like better my conversion, better my sales skills 100%. And even just like seeing what you were building and being part of that community was it's just absolutely worth it. Yeah, it was definitely worth the investment that way because I mean, I love being a part of it. I love seeing the other guys win too, and like the energy that it kind of brings whenever you just have a place to celebrate your own wins and celebrate other people's wins and just kind of build other people up, right? And build that sense of just like I don't know brothership, that sense of kind of community of just like yeah, like let's go out and fucking dominate. Like I love that. I'm a big team player. I'm a big guy who's like I play American football, so it's a big like team game, like rah rah, like I've got your back, you've got mine, let's go and get it. And I think like this feels very similar in that it is obviously everybody's kind of going on their own way and everybody's got their own things going on, but everybody is like a team and we build each other up, and that's really fucking sick.
Definitely. Definitely. I 100% agree with that, even with the way we are with content. And that's why I've done the Greece mastermind as well, because like, and that's why I'm not charging for it. That's why the mastermind is completely free. Well, I might not be in Greece now, but we're going to get a crazy villa. But it's because we're all such a team. I want to bring the people that are really in there and performing together. Like, there's guys in there that are doing really well, and then there's guys in there that are doing like really, really well because they pushed for that a little bit more. You'll be one of those guys. Right now, you're doing a lot. Like, you're at uni, you're working a job, and you're playing full time American football. But you're still
Yeah.
building the business. You're still getting on more clients, like
Mhm.
regularly and consistently, and you'll build the following. So for you as well, as soon as you have more, it's not just time, but like mental space, you'll do even better.
Yeah.
So the focus for you really is just get to the 3K mark whilst you're doing that. And it's going to mean when you finish uni and all that sort of stuff, one, you're going to be able to quit that job, which is my first aim for you. It's like just like make it all super
Please.
sustainable. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, which we're 100% getting there, man. I feel like we're close. And then the second thing is then make it so when you're at uni, after uni, you can just like keep building the business because maybe at the 5+K by then. It just makes it 10 times easier because then you can go all in on the American football and the coaching side. I mean,
Yeah.
for you, what was the first? Because I always think the scariest bit is you do the investment and then you're on call with the person. What was it like from the second you did the investment all the way to the end of the first week, like the first 7 days of being on?
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the like the better times as well because I just think it was it felt really good to invest and then have somebody be very like attentive of that and be kind of have regard for your time and the way that you kind of would feel after investing in yourself, because it's a super scary step, right? Especially somebody who's never done it before. Like I've never had to go into that. And somebody who's like a student, right? Like I'm a university student. I work a part-time job. I have all these different things going on. And I also like I vibe for myself financially. Like I'm completely financially independent. So it's like something like that is massive for me. And it was no mean feat. So it was definitely something that was really scary. But from the minute I kind of invested right through that first week was like, okay, like I actually feel supported in this, because this guy maybe understands that, okay, like it is a big step to start that transformation from where you are, where you don't take action, to taking that first step on the path to get to where you need to go. And that's like it's a big deal for a lot of people. And I think the fact that you were so attentive and we got on a one-to-one the day after, and we had all these kind of goals set out of like, okay, well, here's immediately, like as soon as we're investing, so okay, like how do we feel? Like how do you feel? You feel great. And the one-to-one the day after is like, okay, here's how we're going to get to this goal. Like here's how we're going to price this. Here's how we're going to get you up to speed with your offer. Here's how we're going to get everything kind of ironed out. And it was within the first day or so, which I thought was really, really cool. And that's really great fulfillment of just like whenever you invest and you get that feedback immediately, as opposed to kind of having to sit and wait, is so good when it comes to kind of easing that nervousness and turning it into excitement of like, okay, here we go, like we're on the path and this is
Yeah,
going to be worth
that's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that. I think the most important thing is after you invest in something, so many mentorships I see and I've been in them, like a lot of the fitness coaching mentorships that are still around, I've been in them because I was there when they were early days. One, they teach a lot of stuff that worked in COVID and doesn't work now, which is kind of annoying because you implement it and it's no longer effective. But the second
it.
thing is like I remember I invested in mentorship and it took me a week even jump on a group call because I was working as well at a burger restaurant, and the group calls were always in a thing. I invested the same amount as the investment is for this, and I got no one-on-one ever, and I just got no structure. Like I literally just got a Facebook group, and they just would post the link of the community calls in there, and there was a few modules, and the guy was wearing the same. I'm not going to say who it is, but he was wearing the same top in all the modules, so I could just tell he would just rinse through them all in one day. Like I've like carefully created each one of them. We're still bringing out new because they take us so long to create each one. Um, but I think the most important thing when you join something is knowing the action step you're going to take. And like for you, you're someone that takes action. So I gave you the action step. As long as I checked in on you to make sure you're taking, because I remember at the beginning it took a little bit of an extra push because I think you were used to more researching, and then now you actually having to implement stuff, and it is a little bit scary. But I remember when you were taking action, it just got way easier. Now you say something to you, and it's like, boom, like 2 days later, it's basically done, right? And you're just like smashing through stuff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to in the future. This is just like almost a warm-up testimonial for the grand finale testimonial in the future when you're
Mhm.
absolutely ripping it.
I'm super excited. This is fucking yeah. Like even all the roadblocks that have like come my way so far, and even like the obstacles that I've faced so far is like yeah, I'm so confident now from that, like just in my own ability now to get past those and to kind of like not dwell on any sort of things that are like, if this doesn't go my way or that video doesn't kind of hit the way I wanted to, or somebody's hitting me up saying like, oh, like this, that, and the other, I have the confidence now in myself that okay, like I can deal with this. This is easy. Like I got this shit. Like light work. You know what I mean? And
Just
that's fucking
like
awesome.
we've had stuff, it's just like just message me. Let's figure out a way. 99% of the time, I've already done it. Like I've already had that
Exactly.
issue.
Exactly.
And just
Exactly.
let's just move forward. Anyway, I appreciate you, man.